I have to say, if there would be like a better situation or better financial possibilities in beach volley, I'm not sure if I would be playing indoor now. Generally, if you say I'm a volleyball player, people ask you, what do you do for a living? I say I'm a volleyball player, and they say, yeah, but what do you do for a living? You know, Semen comes like first and go home like last. Oleg come like last and go home like first. I played 10 years in Italy, so I'm gonna say the best league is in Italy, but
don't listen to him. Ahoy Donovan, big thanks.
Ahoy.
Big thanks for joining my podcast. It's a great pleasure that we have a time and chance to speak in Poland, in close to Przysłucha. First of all, tell me about your love to beach volleyball, because it's not first time you're playing in Poland in beach volley competition. I remember a few years ago you played with Jan Handrawa i Stalowa Wola. Yeah, and so tell me what beach volleyball you have that you want to play volleyball also in the summer, but not in the hall, but on the sand.
Hi, thanks for inviting me. It's a great pleasure for me also. And yeah, this passion started when I was like 11, 12 years old, because my family has a beach volleyball club in Brno. And both me and my brother, we grew up there in the club, and we started to play volleyball on the beach. So actually our first volleyball practices and our first volleyball matches were on the beach. And yeah, it's a big passion for me. And I have to say, if there would be like a better situation or better financial possibilities in beach volley, I'm not sure if I would be playing indoor now.
Yeah, it's interesting because you are not the only guy that's saying this. For example, Łukasz Kaczmarek was promising a beach volleyball player, and he said like the reason he went to playing in hall was the money. And I know like some players, like I think Helena Grozer-Havelkova, she decided to play in the sand in order to play at the Olympics, because she said that, you also said that it's easier for people from country like Czech Republic, it's easier to play at the Olympics through the beach volley, to gain qualification through beach volley than through normal volleyball.
That's another big dream of mine. I've always dreamt to play on Olympics, and when me and my brother we were growing up, this dream was only growing. And now a lot of people don't believe me when I say that I want to finish earlier my career in indoor, to try one Olympic cycle, qualification cycle, 4 or 5 years to try it with my brother. And every year each year passing, this dream only gets bigger for me, and I'm sure 100% that this will happen. So yeah, I'm now 29 years. I'm gonna be soon, so I think around 35, 36, I want to finish my career and try to achieve this dream.
But do you still enjoy playing indoor volleyball, or it's like, okay, it's my job, it's high, I earn good money there, so?
No, of course. Indoor, I don't want to make it sound that I don't like indoor. Indoor is my second passion, second favorite thing in the world, and I'm so blessed that I can play indoor and make a living out of it. I'm so blessed, and I'm so happy, and there's nothing that I would change it for. So I love indoor also a lot. And who knows, maybe if I would be playing all my life beach volley, I would be saying like, maybe I'm gonna finish soon and go to indoor, you know. So yeah, who knows.
But tell me, because you mentioned that you come from a volleyball family. You mentioned that you're coming from Brno. I remember it was like 9 years ago, but I was visiting Brno, walking around Brno, and I didn't find any single beach volleyball, the fields. But I found a lot of, for example, tennis courts around the Brno, and I was thinking the people in Czech Republic likes to play like beach volleyball or indoor volleyball, it's still a niche comparing to the popularity of ice hockey, football, or like basketball in your country?
Yes, it's not a popular sport. If you generally, if you say I'm a volleyball player, people ask you, what do you do for a living? I say I'm a volleyball player, and they say, yeah, but what do you do for a living? You know, so yeah, and that's with volleyball. So imagine how's the situation with beach volleyball. Nobody wants to put money there, and nobody wants to give you money for it. So it's really hard for our players. And we have some great players in the past. We have Perugia, for example. They are 4 years ago or 3 years ago they win World Championship, and one of them now is finishing his career because he cannot. He has the title like advocate, you know, so he wants to make a future for himself, but still he cannot make a good living out of it. So it's very difficult situation, and. In Brno, our so-called beach volleyball, so-called Brno 1, our main center is out of the city, close to a lake, something like here in Přisucha. It's a very beautiful place, and me myself, I prefer that the beach volleyball courts are not in the city where you can see the buildings and the city around. I prefer myself when it's like in the nature, you can see the trees, you know, and you have like more like a nature atmosphere.
So you prefer, like Přisucha. I don't know if you watch any games at Stare Jabłonki, because
yes, I've been there also.
More than, for example, in Paris. I remember at the Olympics, it was like close to the Eiffel Tower. Everybody was amazed, but
that was amazing.
So this is
that was amazing.
And tell me, because I know that your father was a volleyball player. He also played in Turkey, in Czech Republic. So how big inspiration he was for you and your brother growing up? Could you say that without him you wouldn't play volleyball, knowing that, as you said, this is not popular sport? I suppose your colleagues at school played like different sports.
Yes. Also, me and my brother, we started to play tennis, football, and then we moved to volleyball. But like you said, without our family, both my father and my mother, they played. My mother also played professionally until she was pregnant with me, and then she stopped. But yeah, my father, he played in Turkey, in Czech. He finished second on European Championship in beach volley. That was the early days in beach volley when the sport was starting, you know, in the 90s. So he was like one of the first Czech players, you know, to ever play. I think I don't want to say lie or something, but I think he was building one of the first courts in Czech Republic. So yeah, he was there since the early days, so the love and the passion in our family stayed. And of course, me and my brother, we knew one day, even though we were playing football or tennis, we knew one day we are gonna play volleyball, and we just waited for the right time, you know. And since we started, we never looked back, and we never even thought about to do something else.
Is it possible? I always ask this question to my guests. Is it possible to talk about Czech training system in volleyball? Like, do you have like the key fundamentals, the coaches on focusing when they coaching kids and junior players?
Yes, but it's. I think our country needs to improve. Our coaches needs to improve a lot in this field. I think, because I spent 10 years in Italy on one of the highest levels in the world, and I saw a lot of great coaches that were coaching like youngsters, you know, and I saw really different things. I saw really how, for example, in Italy, how they try to put inside of the kids since they are young, like a technique, you know, and the mind, you know, how to not make an error, try to be as precise as possible. It's not about, like in Czech in Czech, when you jump high and you attack short diagonal, or you make like a big boom spike, everybody is happy with you. They pat you on your back and they say good job. But in Italy, they say they don't care about this. They care about how you make the right technique with bagger or with fingers or like a cover, and stuff like this. And then when they grow, they take these things with them, and it's much easier for them to make the transition from the junior volleyball to senior volleyball, And in Czech, we have a lot of like talented young guys and girls. We are winning a lot of medals underage, but we have this problem to make this transition, to make it also the same results and achievement in a senior volleyball. So I think our coaches needs to learn this mentality and needs to want to improve this.
You mentioned interesting thing about the junior success. Just recently I watched under 22 European Championship at Czech Republic won the gold medal beating Poland. It was amazing performance, but the Czech team, also I remember last year at the World Championships, 4th place by the senior team. It was also impressive. But does this success is changing something? Do you see like difference when it comes to the approach to volleyball, comparing times you started playing senior volleyball and right now?
Yes, of course. The volleyball movement in Czech right now is growing a lot because, like you said, we finished 4th on World Championships. So I hope, I don't have so many insights, but I hope the money is flowing more there to volleyball sector, and hopefully it will continue. But from what I feel and from what I hear from my friends and from people I know around, it's the volleyball movement is growing. So I'm pretty happy about that. And as I said, now it's a moment, as you said, we have a European Champions under 22. We have, last year we finished 4th on World Championships. I would like to see that, these two sectors, collaborate together, and, a lot of guys from this young generation will become the pillars of our future generation. And for this we need a good structure with the staff, and the staff needs to lead them, because the guys are young, and when you are young, maybe you think but mostly you don't, and you need the right guidance, and they need to be for them, and I really hope that they are gonna be there for them, because they are very big talent.
Sometimes when I speak with players not from these big countries, they told me that in order to be a good player, to have good career, you have to leave your country as early as possible. Knowing that normal people, I think in Poland, recognize just 2 clubs in Czech Republic, like the Praha and the Karlovarsko. Do you think, is it the right idea for like younger players? You will advise to them, move to outside the country as early as possible if you receive a good offer from better league, or maybe try to develop yourself in this, for example, these 2 clubs, because these 2 clubs also have a chance to participate in European competitions.
I'm a big believer that if you get a good offer, it doesn't need to be a great team. It just needs to be a good offer for in the right moment. It can be a club with good coach that focus on young, and try to develop. Like whatever, I'm a big believer that yes, if you are a young Czech player, you should leave the Czech championship as early as possible, because, as I said before, we don't have a lot of coaches that will take you to another level, and from what I saw, from what I lived, from what I know, from guys also that plays in Poland, Italy, Japan now is growing a lot. It's full of coaches that are masters of technique, and they spend their whole lives of developing players. And I think it's always a good experience, just to try. Maybe you don't like it, maybe you say, okay, this is not for me, you can always come back. But when you have the possibility to go, I think it's always the right decision, because the Czech league, from what I saw, didn't change too much in last 10 years. But you as a player, if you go somewhere in Italy, in Poland, Germany, Belgium, France, whatever, good club with good coach, you can grow in 1 year. You can make a step forward like you would never do for 5 years playing in Czech, because Czech league can offer you so much, like there's a limit that the Czech league can offer you, because of course you can play Champions League with Prague or with Karlovarsko, but I think this is good decision for a player that is like 18 or 19 years old, that is like finishing or 20, that is finishing the middle school, and maybe he can get experience there. But as soon as you can go, you go, because you have better competition there. Mostly you have better competition, better coaches, and you can grow much faster.
You were 19 when you left Czech Republic for Monza. After a time in Brno, Praha, Karlovarsko. Now, when you reflect on that time, do you think you were ready for that big step from the Czech League to Serie A?
I was not ready. I thought I was ready, but I was not ready at all. And I came. I thought, okay, I come. How different it can be? How different it can be. I came, and the fourth outside hitter was receiving better than anybody who I saw before. And this was fourth outside hitter that was like 38 years old, and he was finishing his career. He was not jumping, and and he was unbelievable. Second libero, fourth middle blocker. Everybody who you would expect is just there for just fill the place to have people in the. No, they were great technically. They were great mentally, and they were there for work. And this was one of the most important thing I saw, that everybody is there to work and to give 100% every day. And I'm sorry to say, but this was my experience. Maybe somebody else will tell you different, but this was not my experience in Czech Republic, And as soon as I saw this, I understood that I need to do this also. And I spent my first year just learning. I had a great coach. He's watching.
Falasca.
Yes, he's watching us now from the sky. I will always bring him in my heart, because he done so much for me. I had him first 2 years in Monza. I had him in national team, and thanks to him, I am who I am now. And he taught me so much. And in the beginning, I was frustrated that I was not playing, because I was always used to be the best player on the team. And of course, I was not expecting I will be best player in the team for my first year in Monza, but I was expecting I will play a little bit. They say, why are you angry? You don't need to care about this year. You just care about practice. You don't care about games. In games, if I want to use you, I will use you. But don't be angry that you don't play. It's just a half an hour or 1 hour from all week. You have the rest 5-6 days that you can work every day, twice a day. So use this time, and the playing will come in the next years. And in the moment, I didn't understand so much, but I did as he said, and it was the best thing for me.
I always like to share the story that Rok Mozic told me when he went from Slovenia to Verona. He said that in Slovenia he was used to receive serves in 105 kilometers per hour, 110 max. And he went to first games in Serie A against Kazyjski, 120, then Leon, 125, 130, and for him it was like moment, welcome to Serie A. So what was like for you the biggest shock when you started playing against these big names?
Yeah, for me was the capability of not making an error. I was used to that players sometimes they make errors, but they don't make errors. Like, okay, they can get blocked sometimes, but it's not. Sometimes, mostly it's not the error. It's a bravura of the middle blocker, but or the side blocker. But how the people you don't see like a big error. Maybe one maximum two in a set, but you don't see a big error there, like a technical error. And I thought that it was impossible. My first few months, I was watching these guys when we were playing Juan Torena, when we were playing Kaziski, of course, when we were playing Leon when he came in the league. Like these guys, Nimir Abdelaziz, like these guys, they didn't make big mistakes, And yeah, this was like the biggest wow moment for me, like one of the first wow moments for me.
When you really started to feel as a normal Serie A player, do you have a moment when you started, when you finished your adaptation process to the league, when you started feeling comfortable in this league?
Yeah, I think it was like a second half of my second year, because as I said, my first year I didn't play so much. I played few games, but it was mostly practice for me. And then I remember I went back to national team. I had very bad start. Then we went to play European Championship in Poland, 2017. I had few good games, so I gained a little bit of confidence. I came back to Monza, and my first half year was like one good game, two bad games, two good games, one bad game, like this, like a roller coaster, And I couldn't really find a rhythm, For me, it was like, okay, if I had a good start, I had a good game. If I didn't have a good start, I didn't have a good game. I was really fighting with my mental approach also. And then something clicked, and also, of course, Miguel Falasca helped me a lot. And yeah, it was the second half of my second year that I felt like, okay, I did it last week. I did it 1 month ago. I did it 1 month and a half ago. Why can't I do it today? Even if I have a bad start, I can, come back. And and I showed to myself that I can do it. And since that moment, I think I was like, okay, I belong.
And when it comes to the life aspect, it was easy for you to adapt to new culture, new language. Oleg Płotnicki told me the story when he came from Ukraine to Monza. He said that you were only the person that he could talk because, okay, he was Ukrainian, you were Czech, so it was like some kind of connection, like Slavic languages, but he knew nothing about language, and Donovan was my only help.
Yeah.
What about you?
First month I was his taxi. I was taking him to shopping. We become brothers in that moment, and every time I remember on this all days, my heart is full, because I'm really happy that I met him, and for the time that we spent together. And for me it was really easy. I think for me it was a little bit more easy than Oleg, because when I came there was nobody Slavic, nobody who could help me. So I was like there, and everybody. My first the big shock for me, everybody was speaking Italian. Everybody, also foreign coaches, everybody was speaking Italian. Everybody. So I was like, okay, if I want to be here, I need to learn. And luckily I'm good with languages, and around Christmas, 3-4 months, I start to speak a little bit, and in the end of my first year I was already speaking. So, and I like new cultures, I like new people. I never had a problem to change a team, to get good in the to get good connection with the guys, with the collective. So luckily I didn't have problem with that. But yeah, now I was thinking now about a lot of memories when you said, when you mentioned Oleg, me and him, the first days when he came, he was, didn't speak even English, so much. And, sorry. And he didn't even speak good English, and, we were just together, and, slowly but surely he learned. And now this year I was so surprised he speaks so good Italian. I thought it's impossible for him to to learn Italian. So yeah, bravo Oleg.
But what made you feel so good in Monza that you spent few years, like 5 years, six years.
Mm-hmm.
So like because you said that you are good when it comes to like adapt to new places, but you stay in one place for so okay. The teammates has changes, like the coaches, because you also later also work with Fabio Soli. When I check your roster during your time in Monza, in all Serie A clubs, there was a lot of stars. Like you came. There was Visotto in Monza. Later, there was Galassi, I think Grosser, Kurek was also like. And also, I remember in Karlovarsko, I think you played with Robert Szczerbaniuk. Yes. Oh, and this season we'll play with Huber. So now we have like a Polish accents. But coming back to the questions, what make you feel so good in Monza?
I fall in love with the place. I fell in love with the place pretty quick because I understood that Monza is a place that wants to give young talents a space. They've always done that, and I think they are continuing in doing that. And I felt like so much appreciation for them that they offered me a place in a team. First year, second year they offered me starting place. I don't know if somebody else would have done it, and I felt so much appreciation for them, and I really wanted to win something with Monza. Few times we've come close. With Oleg, we finished second in a Challenge Cup. Then a few years later, we finished second in Supercoppa. It was always difficult because the first teams were stacked. Perugia. When Leon came, the Checo, then Bruno, Juan Torena, Leal in Civitanova, Modena in Gapet, it was Trentino, Gianelli, and Kaziski, Nimir, Cebul, Uroš, Kovacevic. A lot of people changed there, but it was always hard to win something. But I believe that I want to win something with Monza, and we can do this. And this was for me very important because I didn't want to leave my birthplace in men's volleyball without achieving something. And I'm so happy that we made it possible in my last year, in one of my last games, CEF Cup against Tour. I'm so happy that we managed, even though it was controversially because we lost first game with Kazan, and then the war broke up, and who knows, probably we would have lost, but no, you never know, and it's not our fault that the war broke up. So we took the chance, and we beat Tours, and I'm so happy, and it will always be in my heart that we managed to win with Monza something.
So what was the reason that you finally decided to leave the club?
Yeah, I thought I was ready to go and try to compete in like the big four, Trento, Modena, Lube, Perugia. My agent Luka Novi, we were always speaking. My last 2 years with Monza, we were speaking always like, okay, when is the right time? Because I was like, in my last 2 years, fourth, not so much, but fifth and sixth year, I was feeling like, okay, I think I'm ready, and I think I want to do this another step, And we are waiting for a good momentum, because you sometimes there is empty space, and sometimes there are players that sign 3 years contract, and there is not space. So we were waiting. We felt like there's a good momentum in Trento because Kaziski was finishing his career, or he's still playing, but he was. It looked like he was finishing his career, and 40 years old in Italy, it's difficult. And Micheletto with Lavia, of course, they are the pillars of the national team. But me and Lorenzetti, we had a deal that because year before they were playing on 3 outside hitters, and I like to attack also from the back. So for me was a good. They offered me a deal. Okay, you will be 4 guys for 3 positions, and we will rotate you all the time. So I was like, okay, perfect, let's do it. I signed 3 years contract with Trento, and I came, and suddenly nobody spoke to me. And when the guys came from the World Championship, they won the World Championship. They come back, and Coach Lorenzetti said, okay, Matej will be opposite, and you 3 guys will be outside hitters. So suddenly I found myself on a bench on a 3 years contract with young players in front of me, and it was a very difficult situation. So I'm really happy that my agent Luca and Trento, they find a solution to break up the contract and to transfer me to Verona. So this was like a little bit down moment for me, because I was waiting 6 years to get ready for these next steps, and this was like a slap for me. Like as soon as I get there, this was like a slap. I couldn't do nothing about it, but yeah, that's life of a volleyball player. Nobody gives you nothing for free, and this is our world. So.
But it's interesting because I remember years ago when I speak with Nimir, he told me that he also signed a long contract with Trento with expectations to play for many years, and they also said to him, you are ready to go. And they left him, and he went to Modena, the same thing, like contract for 2-3 years. After 1 year, he said, you can go. So he said that these moments teach him that this is business in volleyball.
Yes, sometimes you forget about this, because I was 6 years in Monza, and there they don't look on players like this. They look on players like a persons, and I really, at least me, I really grew up there, and I grew up to love the people. I knew every member of the, not just staff, but of the whole, like a club. I knew everybody. I shake hands every day with everybody. I knew their children, their mamas, their papas, and we were like one big family. And so I kind of forgot about it, that it's a bit volleyball. It's a bit sport in general. It's a business, and us players are assets, and. There's nothing wrong from volleyball managers of treating us like this. We get paid for that, and we take this. We need to take this as it is. But sometimes when you are in a place like Monza, you forget about this reality, and so the crash for me was hard. In Trento. But I shook it up, and pretty quickly, and. I said, okay, what's the new chapter for me? And it was Verona, and it was lovely 2 years. So, now, if you ask me about Trento, I always speak, only positively on. It's only positive experience for me. If you ask me during the year, I would speak differently. But that's life, and you need to move on.
And tell me about trainings with Lavia and Micheletto. Okay, at that moment there were already, world champions, European champions. There were promising players, but they're still rising. Okay, Lavia had an injury, table injury, but when we look at Micheletto, everybody's saying he's now one of the best players in the world. But tell me about dealing with them as your teammate, as a competition to your spot as an outside hitter during the season. How are they, and how is it like to be part of the team with them?
Yeah, they are great guys, great competitors. They always leave 100% on practice, and this for me is impressive, because they play. Okay, they are young, they are very young, but they play all year. Every year, I don't know for how many years in a row now, and they always come to practice with a will, and with willing to push, and willing to push the others, because that's I love this about our sport, when we are mocking each other and pushing each other to the limits, because that's how we get better. And these 2 guys, they are doing it, and It's not normal at such a young age, because I played with them 4 years ago. Now they are grown men, but when I played with them, they were, still mentally, I think, in a transition from the junior to senior volleyball, and they were already doing this, like, pushing part, and I appreciate it a lot. Also, Rikis Bertoli, great leader, and he also was a big part of our success, because he also young setter, but he was already like a leader in his mind, and he led us to victory. So yeah, great guys, and yeah, I love them, and I wish them only the best.
And how was like to play with Matej Kaziński? As you said, he was supposed to retire, but he's still playing. I have the chance to interview him, I think, last year, and he still have like the fuel, the motivation to play. Of course, the fact that he mentioned is that he don't play in national team. So it is also, it's very beneficial when it comes to the longevity. When you look, for example, Grozer had a big break in national team. He's still playing. I don't know, Marcus Nilsson, he played for Sweden many years, but Sweden ended their national seasons very early. And now the Kaziński, what makes him so special that he still can play at such great level, being over 40 years old.
Yeah, I think he works a lot in a gym, a lot. I never saw, like, I have in my head this exercise he was doing. He was doing this exercise, like he put the band on the wall, he put it on his forehead, and he was doing like this to make his neck stronger. Like, this just tells you how much he works for every part of the body. He wants to feel perfect, I think, and he's doing a really good job of it, because he's, I don't know, 43 years old and still playing on a highest level. And it was amazing, and he really knows how to handle his body, because he would never come Monday or Tuesday practice after a game and push 100%, because he knows if he would do that all week, he would be tired for the game. So he knows how to handle the tiredness and how to handle his physical shape, and I think this is the key to his success at such a old age.
I hear your story about Matej. I hear stories, for example, about Kamil Semeniuk, how he approached gym training, and also I remember stories from Oleg when he said that when sometimes he looked at the Kamil training, he said, "Oh, I was just, feeling pain when I just saw what he's doing. I'm the laziest guy when it comes to the gym training."
Yeah, it's two different poles, Oleg and Kamil. I had the chance to witness this season every day, and yeah, I think they both know what they need, because Oleg knows if he would work like Semen, he would probably be tired, or it would probably be stressful for him in the gym, I say, because on a practice everybody leave 110%, and they are great competitors, and they never in Czech we say they never leave the ball to fall on the ground without trying to catch it, But in a gym, Oleg, let's say, Semen comes like first and go home like last. Oleg come like last and go home like first. So yeah, that's all I would say.
And before we move to Perugia, I have to ask shortly about your time in Verona, team with Stojcev, like emotional coach. I remember just a few months ago, Alex Grozdanov was in my podcast, and I asked him the question: the fact that him was also Bulgarian was helpful or not? And he was like, not really. And the team with Nomor Keita, with Rok Mozic, you, I think Alex also was,
first year.
Yeah, so tell me about your time in Verona, and also, I would ask you about also two young players at that time, Mozic and Keita, how they grew, because I had the chance to speak with them when they were in their first seasons in Serie A. So since then they grew up a lot, for sure.
Yes. I would say I'm happy I'm not Bulgarian, because it was for sure it was not a plus with Rado. It's not a plus, because I think then he's even more behind your back and screaming on you and giving you hard time on practice. So a lot of times I remember I was like, "Ooh, I'm so happy I'm not Bulgarian." So yeah. And for the question in Verona, yeah, I had 2 great years. As I said before, it was after a difficult year in Trento for me, and I found myself again in Verona as a player, and I grew to love these guys a lot, especially Rok and Numori. They are special guys. They are, of course, special talents. Everybody can see this, but they are special guys also behind the court. You need to find a way to deal with both of them. Each of them is different. Rok it's a little bit like Semen and Oleg. Rok he would spend 18 hours a day in a gym if he could. Like he was a perfect player for somebody like Rado Stojcev, because Rado likes to work a lot, and he's like this old Bulgarian school that the more we practice, the better we play. And Rok was perfect for this. He was loving it, and Numori was more like Oleg, but not in a way like he would not like to work so much, but he liked to do his show, he liked to do he liked to do his special attacks, his funny faces, his funny moments and all these things, and you need to let him do it also, because if he would keep it in himself, I think he would not be happy. So and Rado did a good job of that, like understanding who he is and letting his character free,
And is he also crazy off the court?
Numori? Yeah, he's a very crazy guy. I think now I heard that he's gonna be married soon, so I think he's now he needs to stay more home, and he cannot do crazy stuff now out of the court, but in a locker room, for example, funny guy. Yeah, he liked to do a lot of jokes, a lot of pranks, and had a good time with him. But Rok, for example, he put at such a young age, he put so much energy and so much time also in recovery and stuff, because he was unlucky with a lot of injuries. I hope for him that in the future he will not get as much injuries as in the past, because that was, I think, only thing stopping him from being one of the greatest. And for sure, if they stay together in the future, now when they have Micah Christensen, I think it's a pretty tough challenge to beat them.
When you look at today's Serie A, do you see like the young talents that are impressing you? That you see how you expect them to have a good career? Do you have like the guys you like to watch?
Yeah, of course. Every year there is somebody new in Serie A. I remember when Vlada Viskiba come to Monza to us, and as soon as I saw him, I said, okay, this guy is gonna be incredible. He is gonna have an incredible career. And first year he was not playing so much with us, but then the second year he started. That's the same story like with me. In Monza they want you to develop in the right way, and I think he was very lucky also to start in Monza, because it gave him good start to his career. I think next year he's going to Kazan from Modena. Yeah, so. But from new guys, I like Zelichkov. Zelichkov from the Bulgarian outsider from Monza. I don't know now if he's Zelichkov or Zelichkov.
Sorry, I can't.
Oh yeah, don't worry. He's like 18 or 19 years old, and he was playing against us in a playoffs, and good receiver, and he's not like a powerful hitter, but he's a smart spiker. And of course Diego Frascio. I don't know if you saw him.
Just recently, before you, I spoke with Matteo Piano, and I asked him the same question, and he mentioned him that he has a great future.
Yeah, this guy, I would put my money on him. Yeah, because what he did against us in Perugia, it was incredible. And we said, okay, this one game. He did it all three, and we need to work. We had to work all 3 games 100%. Even though we were the first, Monza was the 8th, and in the regular season we didn't have many problems with them. They didn't have Atanasov, they didn't have the Padar, so we were like, okay. Of course, in Italy you need to work 100% every time, but some opponents should be easier than the others, but it was really not easy for us, and it was much more difficult, I think, than we expected, mostly because of him, because he was impressive. He was going over the block, doing whatever he wanted. He needs to get better on serve, but that's gonna come with time, for sure. And yeah, now...
and in Czech Republic, there is like talent that's impressing you?
Yeah, there is David Pastrňák. Not David Pastrňák, it's... David Pastrňák is the most famous hockey player, but Pastrňák is the surname. I just forget his first name. But Pastrňák is a very promising player. And Antonín Klimes, the middle blocker. His nickname is Mosquito because I don't know why, but maybe because he's tiny like mosquito. I don't know. I never spoke to him, but he's very promising. He's coming to Lube next year, and I expect great things from him.
When I hear the story about Perugia, everybody's saying that this is Real Madrid of volleyball. I remember previous years before you came, when they had amazing teams. For example, being unbeaten in the regular season, and they lost against Milano. They had a lot of seasons where they're supposed to win everything, but somebody or somehow happens that they didn't win. Now, when Lorenzetti came in the recent years, Perugia is really like Real Madrid of volleyball. Tell me about your... Okay, now we can talk in past, because we know that you won't play next season there. Tell me about your time in Perugia and what makes this team so special, except the stars you have on the team. No?
Yeah, of course. Being in Perugia is a big pleasure. It's a big honor. It's a big honor. Honor is the right word. It's a big honor to be there, and I was really honored to be with such a big stars on a one team. And I think the last missing piece, as you mentioned, was Angelo Lorenzetti, because he's like a father figure, to a lot of players, and it's not easy, when you have because a lot of people think like, okay, I'm gonna buy. If you're gonna buy one of the best players on each position, you have the biggest chance to win. But it's a team sport, and you need chemistry, and you need work ethic, and you need all these little things behind the curtain that nobody see, that we as a players work every day, little by little, and we add. Angelo always said it's like building a wall, and every day we add one brick by other, one brick after another, and a lot of people just see the wall after, but they don't see how you build the wall, and it's to build the wall is a very important process. And Angelo, I think he's one of the best in the world for this kind of thing, and for this kind of players, because every each of these stars, they have different characters, you know, and they need different things and different approaches. And I think he did really good job of doing just this. And from what I saw from the guys, also they appreciated it a lot. And I was never on a team that was so like locked in together. Like since we won we had a little bit difficult start of the season. We lost 2 matches. Okay, it sounds like nothing, but in Perugia, if you lose 2 matches, it's.
Gino Sirci comes to locker room.
Yeah, Gino Sirci is a difficult character sometimes, I think, to deal with, especially with Angelo. But you know, he is the president, and you cannot say anything, you know. And but this year he was lovely guy. He was the most lovely guy, you know, you could meet, because we were winning. So
sorry to disrupt you, but I remember my podcast with Kamil Rychlicki. He told me a funny story about the Sirci, that every day before a game he had a habit that he comes to the practice, day before the match. And when somebody hit the ace, he was saying, "Yeah, tomorrow, you will make tomorrow." And you know, when they were winning, he was happy over the moon. But Kamil told me that many times he came to locker room for the speech.
Yeah. This year, Angelo, I think, did very good job of like filtering, you know, the stuff. That is from outside, that not a lot of stuff has gotten to the team, you know, and I think he had some deal with Sirci that you know, he will not do so many speeches with us, and we didn't have so many speeches. We just have like motivational speeches before like big events. And as you said, on a practice, he say, "Yeah, tomorrow you need to do this. Tomorrow, you are the best guys in the world. That's why I bought you. I believe in you." You know, but it's nice, and I love it. And actually, I was a little bit afraid of going because I was 9 years playing against Perugia, and you know, sometimes you hear stories, or sometimes I saw him, because when you win in Perugia, you know, you always see him angry behind. But for me, that's a sign of like that he loves doing it, and that he appreciates everything we do for him. And I really appreciate this, because he put his heart and soul into this. And you know, he could be just like, "Okay, I give you the money, and if you don't play good, I'm just gonna change you, or I'm just gonna, you know, speak bad about you and blah blah blah." But he's not like this. He's passionate, very passionate, and I really appreciated the energy from him this year.
Is it easy to find a good chemistry on the court with such a great player setter like Gianelli? Or maybe because of he's that good, maybe it's harder for like outside hitter or opposite to build chemistry on the court?
Sometimes he tricked even me, you know, like
that was why I'm asking, because he can do some crazy, you know, stuff on the court. So I was thinking, if from teammate perspective, maybe it sometimes can be hard just to adapt to his like style of play.
Yeah, especially for me, coming after I came after a big injury. I torn three big ligaments in my knee, and I was in the first half of the season, I was kind of getting back in a shape, you know, and trying to find back like a rhythm and confidence. And when he make these tricks, we call it in Italy, we call it finta, you know. Sometimes he made trick on me also, and I was like, okay, this for sure doesn't go on me. And he gave the set to me, for example, on 0 block. I was not ready, you know. I attack out. I was feeling like idiot, you know. But no, he's great. He's great setter. I think one of the greatest of all time for sure. And he's the most precise and the most intelligent setter I ever played with. And for this, I'm also grateful that I had the chance to play with him, because it's incredible how he how he see the game and how he reacts on what is happening on the other side, because maybe the team start with one thing, with one like what's the word, with they prepare for something, with one tactic, and then they change it, and he just need like 2 or 3 balls to see this, and he changed his tactic in just like this, and it's not easy. It's not easy, and that's why he's one of the best in the world.
So what was you said a little bit about this, but what was the secret to be so successful throughout the whole season? You mentioned this, tough beginning, but then, we know the Serie A, we know the Champions League finals, you played amazing. What is the biggest strength of this team?
Yeah, sorry, bravo. I didn't finish my saying there. Yeah, we had a tough beginning in Perugia. As I said, if you lose 2 times, it's a disaster. And since that, it was in Brazil. We went in Brazil for World Championships, and we knew there was, for the first time, or I don't know if for the first time or after a long time, there was like a Japanese club, like a strong Japanese club,
and also Polish,
and very strong Polish club.
Yeah, Zawiercie, also Polish club didn't play it for many years because of the calendar.
Yes, so we knew that it's for the first time in a long time that there was like 2 top teams, and of course Zawiercie played the final of Champions League last year with Perugia, so 2 best teams in Europe, one of the best teams in Asia. And of course, Brazilians in Brazil, they play better than in the Superliga because they get all like pumped up for this one event, and they gave their best. So we were struggling in a first match with Osaka, but we managed to win this tough match 3-2, and then we arrived in the finals. We against Osaka, we won 3-0, and I think that's where we gained confidence and where we showed to ourselves that if we play on our potential, nobody can beat us, and we start to believe it. And I think it showed on practice also, and especially on the games, because after there was long period that we were just playing every 3 days in all the Europe, and we were always traveling. We would practice maybe 1 or 2 times, but usually you would get somebody who's a little hurt, or there would be practice after a road, so the practice were or not with everybody, or maybe a short practice, or just just to touch the ball. So it was difficult to stay in shape because we were not practicing so much, but we were playing so good because we were locked up, and I think we leaned on each other. When somebody didn't have a good day, there was somebody ready on a bench, or there was guys on the court that helped him to get better, and this worked very well with our team this year. Yeah.
You mentioned this sad accident. I mean, your injury. I saw the photo from from your Instagram of this leg, and the Happy New Year post with your girlfriend on the hospital bed.
Bionic knee.
Yeah. So there was you tore on ACL, MCL, LCL, also meniscus injury. Tell me about that time and how hard, not only physically but also mentally, was for you to do to recover from this.
It was a jackpot, and I say, if you do it big. So I did this also with my injury, unlucky for me, but it was from nothing. I never had injury longer than 3 days, in my life until that point. I never felt any pain. I was always good in gym. I was, I'm flexible from the nature, so I never had the problems with stretching and this kind of stuff. I never had pain in my body.
I'm jealous because I hate stretching.
Yeah, so it was a shock for me, because it, if it's a thing that gets worse over time and you experience more and more pain, then you kind of, I don't want to say get used to it, but maybe you can be prepared for it, but a little bit. But this was like a lightning from nothing for me, and it was, very hard for me also from a mental point of view, because volleyball is the only thing I do, and now they take it from you, and what do you do, And I want to thank my girlfriend a lot, and my family, of course, that stayed close to me in this hard time. And I was so lucky to have great people around me. Verona took great care of me. They managed to get me one of the best doctors, one of the best operators in Italy, and one of the best rehabilitators for me. So these things helped me a lot in the beginning, and also helped me to not focus on it, because I had always a schedule. I have always something to do. Every day I was going to the rehabilitation center, I was stretching, I was going to swimming pool, and my schedule was always full, and it helped me to not think about it so much, but it was very hard there.
And it took you like 9-10 months to fully recover from this? When I saw according to the posts?
Yeah, to fully recover, I would say it was at least a year. I would say a year and 2 months, 14, 15 months, fully recover. I started to play volleyball 9 months after. We've been in Tokyo for the preparation games, and there was a full gym of 15,000 people. So I was full of adrenaline, and I was playing there, but I was not feeling like myself. And then I had one good week, 2 bad weeks, 2 good weeks. It was like a roller coaster for me. And then, with the time, it started to be much more of the good days and less of the bad days. And in the end of the season, I felt I'm back 100%. Now I feel I don't know which leg was operated almost, so I'm pretty happy about that. And it opened my eyes also in a lot of things of taking care of my body and stuff. I think I improved a lot. But it was very difficult time for me, and I'm happy that I overpassed it without any major mental issues, because I know that a lot of athletes after so big injury, they don't get back or as fast or maybe never on a level that they've been before, because the mental break is so big. It's sometimes it's hard to overcross.
Yeah, that was one thing that I wanted to ask, because like you said, I had a chance to speak with many athletes who torn ACL, and they told me that, for example, volleyball players that they had mental barrier when they started to jump. If maybe I will again jump quite bad, so I'll think this injury came again, and there are second thoughts on minds. What about you? You didn't have any problems about this?
Yeah, I had in the beginning, of course, because it happened to me. I was attacking on a block. I made a block out, and the ball was coming towards me. So I twist in the air to don't get touched by the ball, and I fall on my knee, and my torso went that way, and my knee went that way. So it was like a tower when you squeeze the tower. My knee went out. And so it was very difficult for me because this was landing. I'm doing 100 times a day. I always land on this one left leg, and then I land on my left, and then I put the right back. So this was very scary for me because I didn't know how to do it otherwise. And I needed to teach my mind again that it's possible, you know. And it took me a lot of jumps. It took me well over 1,000, maybe 10,000. I don't know how many thousands, but a lot of thousands of jump to teach my mind that it's okay to land on this foot and land on this leg, and that it's okay. And you know, in the beginning, maybe you think about it 90% of the time. Then you go next month, it's 85%, and then you go lower. And now I don't think about it. So yeah, it takes time.
And after 10 years, you decided to leave Italy and go to Japan. What was like the reason?
Even before the injury, I was speaking with Japanese clubs, and I was ready to change because I saw this volleyball movement in Japan that is growing. You know, after the Tokyo Olympics, there is a lot of money flowing inside, and they wanted to make a stronger league. You know, inviting foreign coaches, allowing more foreign players on the court.
Yes,
and I really like that. And after a long time in Italy, I felt like maybe I am ready for a new adventure, for a new competition, you know, and for a new
challenge.
Bravo, challenge is the word, for a new challenge. And so yeah, I was thinking, I was speaking even before my injury with Japanese clubs, but then of course my injury happened, and I wanted to stay somewhere where I feel safe. And Italy was a safe place for me, so yeah. But I was ready to leave because I wanted a new challenge, and I can wait for it. I'm gonna play in Wolfdogs Nagoya next year, and
with Żenia Grebenikov,
with Norbert Huber,
yes,
with Eamon Bogera, with Anton Breme. We are gonna be a lot of foreigners, with Italian coach Valerio Baldovin, that I know well from my years in Italy. So I think that maybe will make at least the beginning easier for me. And yeah, I can wait for the new challenge.
And do you think soon maybe the moment happened when Japanese league will be on the same tier with Plus Liga and Serie A when it comes to the being? Because right now when you ask people, okay, we are in Poland, so if you ask people, they say, oh, Plus Liga is the best league in the world. Many people will say, yeah, Serie A is the best league in the world. Different people that have different opinion. But in my opinion, when I see the rise of the Japanese volleyball, okay, the fact, like you mentioned, that they increasing the limit of foreign players, how big show they're also doing, not only in the sport aspect, but also like the marketing aspect, I'm started to thinking, yeah, if or maybe if already this moment happened, that Japanese league will be on the same tier as Serie A and Plus Liga.
Yes, as you said, the movement is growing a lot. The marketing is incredible. The fans are incredible. They have full gyms everywhere, and with all these things, I think it has the potential for sure. It has the potential of, now it's already one of the best leagues in the world. I think if you take the average, still there is the Italy and Poland have advantage. I played 10 years in Italy, so I'm gonna say the best league is in Italy, but
don't listen to him.
But yeah, for sure. Like I think the first 4 or 5 teams, they are already on an Italian Polish level, but the rest I think still needs some improvement. But it's for sure on the right way to get there.
And coming to the end, I have to ask you a little bit about your national team career. But career that, to be honest, to be brutal, for many years doesn't exist, because you don't play since like European Championship 2019, or I saw some interviews with you about when the Czech journalists were asking you about this. You mentioned the coach aspect. coach with whom you also work in Karlovarsko. Now when you're seeing for example, the last year's success, you didn't think, oh, maybe I wish I was there with them.
There was never a time I was sad that I was not there, but of course I would like to be a part of a team that was fought on a world championship, and I was pretty happy for them, and I was cheering for them, and I'm cheering for them now. I don't have nothing against Czech National Team, Czech National Volleyball Team. I have nothing against the coach Jiří Novák.
So there is no any conflict between you and him?
No, I have nothing against the players. I have nothing against the coach. I wish them all the best. It's just that with the free time as a player that is playing in abroad, I was given. I just decided to spend it differently. You know, I just decided that I spent a lot of time in national team since I was 13 years old. Every summer I was there, and I would never see my friends, I would never see my family, and of course this is a story that every volleyball player will tell you. It's nothing new for you. You are used to hear this. But with this time, after I was, in Italy for a few years and always coming back to national team, I decided that I want to spend my time differently. I want to keep playing beach volley, even though it's not the highest level tournaments, because it's impossible, because with the point system and rankings, we cannot enter the biggest tournaments. But even tournaments like this in Přisucha, that is pretty big tournament, and with great couples, it's I love this challenge. I love to play beach. I love to free my mind from the indoor stress, from the indoor volleyball stress, and spend time with different people, spend time with my family. I'm playing here now with my brother, and this for me is the most. It's I was waiting this moment like a Christmas, and so yeah, I have nothing against. I never said I'm never coming back. I always speak with the coach. This summer I was pretty close to coming back. It's just that I needed more time for my knee, because in Japan you are not playing one game a week. You are playing 2 games every
Saturday
weekend. Saturday and Sunday, and I wanted more time also to get physically in the best shape possible. So I'm mostly in the gym. I'm practicing 3-4 times at least in the gym a week. For this I play some beach volley practice 3-4 times a week, and I'm playing tournaments on the weekend. But for me, it's the most important is to, right now this summer, is to get in the best shape possible to arrive in Japan and be in a best shape possible. But yeah, to finish this answer for the national team, there is no grudges, between me and the national team. I just decided to spend my time differently. It's a thing that makes me happy, that makes my heart full, and I'm not what's the word? I'm not regretting any of that.
And how coach reacted to your decision that you want to focus on yourself on the beach volleyball during summer and not being part of the national team? Because I suppose it wasn't easy conversation.
Yeah, it's never easy conversation for me to say no, because as I said, I never officially ended my career. So every year I'm in contact with people from federation, from the national team. They always ask me, and most of the times in the last year I said no, because I don't feel good there, like inside and mentally I don't feel so good there. So I think he understands that. He's of course he would prefer to have me there, he would prefer to have me there with the guys and compete, and that's what he's saying to me every year, that he would like me to be there. But I think he understands. But in the beginning, I think most of the people, they didn't understand. They thought that it's just like, I'm thinking I'm better than them, that I don't need to be there or something like this. But then when the years went by and they really understood that like this is the way I feel mentally and physically, I think they understood, and I think they are not. I hope they are not angry with me.
Yeah, I'm also curious how the Czech national team will look like with you, Vasina, Sutola, and Indra. For example, I'm impressed by Patrick Indra, how he developed in Poland, especially the first season. And but you said that you never ended your career, decided to stop permanently play. So do you see yourself, I don't know, when Czech Republic will have a big chance to qualify for Olympics, do you see yourself, again in national team jersey?
Possibly, yeah. I can see myself there. It's a matter how I will feel in the moment, How I will feel in the moment, I will decide when it's gonna come. But I never said no for the future.
You mentioned that you would like to end your career in beach volleyball, trying to fight for the Olympics. But apart of beach volleyball, what are your hobbies or things you like to do to not to think about your indoor volleyball career?
I love to travel. Me and my girlfriend.
But as a player, you have a tough time to travel because you have the season. Yeah,
it's difficult. But in Italy, usually you get 2-3 weekends free in a year when you are very lucky, and we always take it as a possibility to go somewhere, and in the summer we are doing longer vacation for a couple of weeks, somewhere. This year we've been in Florida and Caribbean, and one day me and my girlfriend, we would like to see all world, and that's thing that makes me really happy. But like a hobby, if you ask me for something that I do during the year to don't think about volleyball, I every second guy, I play PlayStation, I watch films, and I love to cook. I think I'm a pretty good cook, I think.
What is your best dish you can make?
Best dish that I make pretty good steaks. Yeah, steaks and Italian food, Italian cuisine. I learned a lot from my 10 years in Italy.
And what about Czech cuisine?
Czech cuisine is difficult. I love Czech cuisine. It's pretty similar to Polish, but it's heavy. It's heavy food, and you cannot eat this before practice or games. So, and I leave this to my mom and grandmother. But I'm more of a healthy food guy. Yeah. So yeah. But I'm doing desserts also. That's the thing that I improved this year a lot. And I can't wait to learn new recipes in Japan.
A part of staying healthy, what I can wish to you? What I can wish to you, because usually in Poland, we wish health, the money, or luck, or what I can wish to you.
That we meet in 10 years, and hopefully I'm gonna be playing with my brother, still playing volleyball, beach volleyball, and. Of course, as you say, a part of the health, there is nothing more important than health. But you can wish me a lot of money.
So I wish you big contracts.
Thank you.
Big contracts, and big thanks for having time for me. Big thanks for joining my podcast. It was a great pleasure to host you. Wish you all the best in your club and also on the beach volleyball courts.
Thank you very much. It was a big pleasure for me too.